It's like Mario. Here we go. All right, welcome to Geeks Unleashed, episode 108. I'm Mark,
I'm Jasmin.
and our podcast mission statement for new listeners and returning listeners. As of episode 100, each week we will be talking about our current viewing, reading, or playing geeky habits, whilst mixing in a review of every comic book, movie, or TV series. Yeah, ever. So from episode 100 we started it. From episodes 1 to 99 we kind of played around, found what we liked, and episode 100 we kind of saw that as Geeks and Niche 2.0, and we're basically working our way through every single one other.
Yes. So we have content for the next like 15 years. So you guys are in for a treat.
No comic review this week, no comic book movie review this week, as we're going to handle, like we did on the first episode of last year, our most anticipated for the year.
Oh yeah.
So this episode we're going to reflect on that previous list from last January, and we will also talk about what we're anticipating for this year.
Yep. But before we get started, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We would also love it if you would like this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, we appreciate that as well. We would also very much love it if you would leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or Spotify.
In short, we would also love it if you were to give us some money too. So
yeah, buy us a comic, buy us a movie ticket.
Ko-Fi is the place to go, where you can just give us a couple of quid. Anything is appreciated. Look, even if you just gave us like, I don't know, $1 a month or something like that, it all helps us, and we appreciate it all. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So as the start of the year, Merry Christmas, Jasmin. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, listeners. Merry Christmas, listeners. Happy New Year to our listeners. And again, appreciate all the love and support that everybody has given us over the past couple of years. But we're back after our 3-week break. Can't believe it's been 3 weeks.
I know, it flew by, like, for real.
So we had our last episode with Robbie, which was our only book club.
Our annual Christmas book club.
Christmas special, Scott Pilgrim Volume 3. So if you haven't listened, go back and re-listen and watch the YouTube video. We also, on the same day that we recorded it, jumped on Instagram. It's the first time we've ever done a live on that volume.
Yeah.
I don't know how many guests we had. Was it like 10 guests?
We had a handful. I mean, we just had people come through for the whole hour. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Do you know, before we started, I spoke to Jasmin. I was like, it lasts like half an hour. It clocked on at like it clocked on for like just under 2 hours, I think, at the end. Because we had people coming on. It was good though. So obviously you can go onto YouTube and rewatch YouTube live. I won't ruin any of that now, but you can. For the first time that we've ever done this, our sort of movie, comic, game, and TV show of the year was all voted for this year rather than our own choice. So, which I think actually. I
sparked a lot of debate, truly.
Yeah, I think I prefer that format, so I think you'll probably see that again.
Yeah.
So anything over the break, Jasmin, did you get up to? Not just TV, but did you do anything? Or
not really. I just kind of enjoyed the downtime with family. I guess like just the way that the holiday fell this year, I ended up having 2 4-day weekends in a row. So
me too, yeah.
It was very nice to have like very short work weeks consecutively. So it's a 3-day work week, 3-day work week, and then this week was a 4-day work week. So it's nice to kind of ease back into everything.
Any geeky gifts?
I did actually. Here's one. This is a Pac-Man mug that is actually shaped like one of the old arcade boxes, and so I put a bunch of my pens in it. I also got something sitting here conveniently. So everybody knows, well, most people know that Mass Effect is like my favorite game, and Thane is my favorite character in the game. And so someone gave me like a set of Thane coasters. So I have those sitting on my desk as well. So I got a couple of nerdy things. That was a fun surprise.
Everybody, if anybody does follow me, by the way, I have a geeky Instagram. I wanted to separate them out in the summer. I decided the reason I did that, by the way, was I found a lot of geeky people following my personal one, and I only really put pictures of me, my wife, and kids on there,
and the dog.
And the dog, yeah. and I just thought, like, there's nothing here. If people like that love comics and movies and just want to follow my personal one, they're just going to see pictures of the dog and stuff. So in the summer, I created a personal geeky thing called Mark Talks Comics. So I've been sticking a lot on there, and if anybody does follow me on Mark Talks Comics, it's not just comics anymore, because on Christmas Day, I knew about this anyway, like, because
it wasn't a surprise. That's a bummer.
It wasn't a surprise. No, I mean, so whenever I want anything technical, so about 4 or 5 years ago when I got the PS4 for Christmas, I Michelle said to me like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "PS4." Like, so she was like, "Oh, can you just order it then? Because I don't want to make a mistake." So so
Honestly, though, that's the best way to do it. Like, I know this is what you want for Christmas, and sorry, it's not going to be a surprise, but at least you get exactly what you want.
well, I think with anything technology wise, like my wife
Hmm.
doesn't really want to make a mistake.
Uh-huh.
So for this Christmas, I got a Nintendo Switch with Mario Odyssey and Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, yeah.
So those are two games I've been wanting to play for a long time, and I know it's quite a large expense. So I be honest with you, I did go and get a second hand one. I went onto eBay and bought one. So I'll be honest with you, I'm old enough now that I'm not particularly bothered about it being brand new.
Hmm.
So I think, in my early 20s when, I lived at home, I paid £200 a month in rent and I had a lot
Those were
much
the
more,
days, right?
yeah, had much more disposable cash.
Yeah.
I was happy to go and buy. I remember like buying Dreamcast on day of release. That was a couple £100.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got the Switch for Christmas and I've played that pretty much every day.
Yeah,
And one
yeah.
of the things I love about it is that I can just play it on my own on the sofa or in bed or whatever, or equally can stick it on the telly. And
Hmm.
my kids have got the lights, and one of them had Mario Kart. We've played so much Mario Kart in the light. We literally play Mario Kart every day now, the four of us. So we've only got two joypads at the moment, which is the little Joy Cons.
Hmm.
But we want to get two more so the four of us can play. But like, yeah, it's brilliant. So,
Well, that's fun.
uh,
It was like a family game night. Like you
yeah,
posted a picture of that.
yeah, we did a family game night on Friday. We played some board games as well. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, so you might see some more of that. But playing on the Switch though did make me dig out. We've got some old DSs laying around, and we've got loads of games. So actually, I started digging out some of our old DSs, and now it's made me actually start craving a Game Boy. And I've been
Oh
literally
man.
going on Marketplace or eBay trying to see if I can find I want to find a reasonable price Game Boy. I'm not willing to drop silly money on it.
Oh.
So like that's kind of my goal, is to go and find an original grey Game Boy. So
Well,
uh,
I might have a contact for you. I was so last year when we had that really bad freeze, one of my friends had a bunch of water damage and I was helping her like collect boxes from her house.
yeah.
And I opened one of the boxes and she had like all of these NSYNC marionette dolls, like
All right,
from
yeah.
the No Strings Attached album. But underneath all of her NSYNC like memorabilia, she had a perfectly intact like case and everything Game Boy. And so like I opened the case and it's just like this Game Boy in pristine condition with the games right next to it. And I was just like, did you even remember that you had this? And she was like, honestly, I don't even remember putting any of these things in this box.
Well, well, I don't know I don't know what if she wants money or not, or I guess, well, the thing is with postage, it might not be worth it doing it for me. But
Oh yeah,
that's, yeah.
from the US.
Well, yeah, let me know. I mean, if she's happy to donate it, then I can just pay the postage. So, no, do you know what? I saw somebody on Facebook Marketplace giving away two free Game Boys. That person was inundated with messages. She
I
actually
bet.
updated her sale. I sent her a message as well. She was an hour drive from me, but I was like, F it, I'll go get it.
Yeah.
Like, and especially as she had two, I was like, I thought I don't really need two, but they were both different ones. And I thought, oh, like, uh, I'm sure I could make do with two. So,
I'm sure I'll
like,
figure it out.
yeah, I'm sure I'll figure it out. But no, she didn't even reply to me. So, but anyway, we always have a little bit of a catch up on our geeky stuff.
Yeah.
So over Christmas, me and my wife set ourselves a bit of a goal, and so normally we actually every Christmas kind of go back and watch old stuff like Beverly Hills Cop or Lord of the Rings, and
Oh, okay.
we did do some Lord of the Rings, but we set ourselves a bit of a goal of watching content of new films that we hadn't watched.
Hmm.
So we watched Knives Out, Glass Onion, Amsterdam. I watched 355. I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I literally managed to get through loads of things. Like, I won't go on about them now, but I watched Barbarian this week as well, which I don't mind talking about that. Like,
Yeah.
that it's unusual for me to watch a horror, but I watched it in the day. So
Yes, that's a requirement.
I think that's the only way I managed to get through that, was in
Yeah.
the day. So I watched two miniseries as well this week. One was from last year, one Oh no, they were both from last year actually. One came out I think middle of last year, and one came out on Boxing Day. So Boxing Day, by the way, is the 26th of December for you Americans. And anyway, so I watched Treason with Charlie Cox, which is a 5-episode miniseries, and I watched Echoes with what's her name? Is it Michelle Monaghan?
Monahan.
Monahan, yeah. So Echoes is 7 episodes, which I think was probably slightly too long. 5 episodes probably would have been better. But it was fine. Like in terms, I think I'm glad it didn't go beyond 7 episodes. The story is pretty much wrapped up. However, they did throw in the last couple of minutes an annoying cliffhanger. So, but it is what it is. That's what they do with these things. And with that cliffhanger, though, I'm more than happy for it to be left as it is. It wasn't so annoying, like that you're like can't believe that they've done that, like ridiculous. But it was a cliffhanger in a sense that left you thinking there's more drama to come.
Of course.
But like, you can kind of handle that in your head. Like there's some things where they end them like that and you're like, no, that's ridiculous, I can't believe they ended it like that. But for that cliffhanger, I was like, okay, I'm cool with that being the end. And I looked it up, and apparently there are no plans to do a season 2. But the creator of it said he is open to it, hence why he threw that cliffhanger in right at the very end.
So is it on Netflix or what? Where is it?
So Echoes is a Netflix show. Both of these actually are Netflix shows. So Treason with Charlie Cox is a Netflix show. So Netflix Treason is about it follows Charlie Cox, who becomes the head of MI6. So the head of MI6 gets.
He seems really young to be the head of MI6.
No, so it's like temporarily. So what happens is the head of MI6 gets drugged or whatever, gets attacked, and is in the hospital for, I don't know, say 2 weeks. And he's like the number 2. And so they say, look, while he's in hospital, you're temporarily in control. And so there is a bit of chat in the first episode about, is this the long-term plan for, or is it going to be a long-term plan for somebody else to take over? And Charlie Cox's character is like, let's just work on the assumption that he's coming back. But yeah, there's a lot more. There's basic big twists and turns it's very much like I'd say like a 24 style show, in the sense that you can't trust anybody. All that kind of thing. Somebody might be your friend but might not be your friend, and there's all these different people that have got agendas, and it all gets so halfway through the final episode, I don't want to say anything, but like it takes a twist that I didn't potentially see coming. But really drove home the fact that it's definitely a mini series, and there's no. And with Treason, it does end. Like you can't see I would say you can't see a sequel for it. I would say it was a frustrating ending, but everything did get tied up. Like there wasn't anything particularly left hanging. Well, there was a couple of things, like somebody was angry with somebody else and said that they're kind of going to come after them, and you just got to assume that's probably going to happen. But it wasn't. But it's not a story that I was particularly interested in. So I was like, okay, we'll assume that happens, and she'll go after them or whatever. But yeah, it was resolved. I thought it was well done. Charlie Cox, though, whenever you watch him, I struggle now just not to see Matt Murdock. Like, and I constantly question whatever character he's in. Is he blind or not? But what I liked though was I've seen Charlie Cox as an American play in Daredevil. I've seen Charlie Cox play it like is either last year or the year before. I saw him in a show called Kin, where he played an Irishman, and then this year I actually saw him as an Englishman in Treason. So it was really weird to see like 3 different accents from one character. So and I'm pretty sure he was in Broadwalk Empire as well, wasn't he? So
I don't know. I've never seen Boardwalk.
I'm pretty sure he was. So I did watch that, but it was a long time ago now. But anyway, Barbarian, I will quickly tell you about that in summary. This lady checks into an Airbnb.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
It's double booked. Guy opens the door. Pouring down torrential rain. Kind of really has very limited choice. But I don't want to say any more. But he is the least of her problems as the movie goes on. So,
yikes.
The only thing I would say about this is that I like is that the story, whilst it is one story from
Mm-hmm.
start to finish, and it does have a conclusion, I like the fact that it's kind of told in segments. So like the first half an hour is very continuous, and then half an hour in something happens,
Mm-hmm.
and then it switches to another character in another location before coming back to the story you just left in the first half an hour. And it's very well done. I thought it was so. It was put together on a $4.5 million budget,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently it's made like just under 50 million. So it's a good
Okay,
return.
but like, how creepy is it?
Um,
Like you said, you watch it during the daytime. Like, do I need to like get off this podcast and go watch it right now while I still have a whole day left, a whole day of daylight?
I mean, I would say watch it, but there are I don't know. There are underground tunnels with very limited light.
Oh,
So
you know, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were like, "How come when you travel, you don't stay at Airbnbs?" And I was like, "Because I mostly travel by myself. Like, I don't want to be in an Airbnb by myself. Like, if I'm
no.
gonna be traveling by myself, like as a woman traveling alone, like I want to be at a hotel chain. Like, I
Yeah.
want a front desk, I want reception, I want all of the like hotel amenities if I'm traveling by myself." Ugh.
I think to be honest with you, with this, you have to take an air of even the Airbnb part isn't believable because I would imagine that you'd read reviews, and I can't imagine any of the reviews would have been positive about what, just let alone the neighborhood that the
Mm-hmm.
house is in. It's not a nice neighborhood. So I would imagine that as a young woman checking in, surely you'd read, you know, house is nice, but the area is like
Yeah.
crime central, whatever. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
real rundown area. So, but I don't want to say anymore. I would say it's worth watching. I definitely wouldn't watch it at night if you don't like horror. I would say I thought it was clever. I mean, it
Okay.
not clever as in not clever as in twists, but clever as in I liked how they put it together.
Yeah.
Um, and I liked them. I can't remember her name, the actress, but I liked the main female
Mm-hmm.
actress, and she's definitely someone I would follow into other things. But anyway, I've talked too much about all this. But yeah, Barbarian, I would recommend. Like, there's other people out there probably stronger stomachs. You know, I wouldn't say sorry. It's not particularly gross or anything, but like, I think there's one or two scenes that are a little bit horrible, but generally you can watch the
But it's
film
more like a
without it.
psychological thriller then.
There is psychological, mate.
Just trying to get
Like
a gauge of like what kind of horror we're talking.
there's a lot of build up. There's a lot of build up, you know, like creaky doors and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Like, you know, and are people are who they say they are or whatever. There's definitely a lot of build up. Um, yeah. But there are scenes that are like fuck. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, so yeah, like I don't know.
Okay. I'll put that on
uh
my maybe list. That's a maybe
so
list.
I'd be keen to know what you think. But anyway, did you read or watch or play anything or
Well, so I got a Best Buy gift card and I finally, after 3 years, turned on my PlayStation 4. It's been a very long time. I haven't used it since before COVID. I think the last game I played on my PS4 was the last God of War from 2018. So it's been a long time. Turned on my PS4 because I finally bought myself the Mass Effect Legendary Edition for PlayStation. I've never ever played Mass Effect on the PlayStation, so like I've just been having fun getting the trophies all over again.
oh
Um
yeah, I saw you did post that.
yeah, so I've just been kind of working my way through that. I did watch Glass Onion and I really love Benoit Blanc. Like I just think that he is such a fun character. So I'm super stoked to keep watching more Benoit Blanc movies. And I think they've been talking about there's going to be a third film in the works. But I like that it's not connected. Like I like that he is like the connecting character, but like you don't have to have watched Knives Out to watch Glass Onion.
You can watch Glass Onion and then watch Knives Out. I would
Yeah,
say
it
Glass
doesn't.
Onion was better than Knives Out though, so I would watch Knives Out first. So
I don't know that I'm gonna agree with that. I think I liked I liked the cast of Knives Out better than the cast of Glass Onion. But I still very much enjoyed. I like this world that Rian Johnson has built, like with these characters and how quirky everything is. And it's the kind of like whodunit that is just so fun to watch, because it's almost like watching Clue come to life, which they make jokes about Clue in Glass Onion, which I thought was pretty funny. But that's what it feels like to me. Like if you went and remade the film Clue and you kind of updated it for the modern viewer, I feel like these are the kinds of stories that you would get with a Clue remake. And so it's so fun.
I felt with Glass Onion, it was very difficult to figure out who it was. But with Knives Out, because they didn't develop as many of the characters, I think it was quite obvious, like who the Twitter. See, I forgot her name. It was the girl from 13 Reasons Why. No, not 13 Reasons Why. Sorry, the girl who's the Bond girl who dated Ben Affleck.
Ana de Armas.
Yeah. So obviously her reveal came quite early on. So I straight away said to my wife, "It's not her. Something else has happened." I went, I even said maybe somebody switched the vials before she accidentally switched the vials. I said something like that. But because they didn't develop that many characters, other than the guy who kind of best friended her, I was like, it's got to be him. I felt
I was the opposite. It took me a while to figure out who done it in Knives Out, but like with Glass Onion, I knew immediately who it was in Glass Onion.
Yeah. So, anyway,
and then one other thing I watched on Netflix. It's a Korean adaptation. It's a anime, but it's based off of a Korean webtoon. It's called Lookism. It was only 8 episodes, but it's like this fat kid keeps getting bullied at the school that he's going to, and he is like poor. Him and his mom live like in this bad neighborhood. She works like 2 or 3 jobs to pay for everything, and eventually he just like begs his mom if he can go to another school because he's getting bullied so bad. And then it's like this supernatural thing kind of happens where he wakes up one morning and there are 2 of him. So like there's him and his fat body, and like whenever his fat body is sleeping, his hot body like is awake and can be in the world. So he decides to split his time, and like the hot kid is who goes to high school now, and so like the fat kid ends up getting an overnight shift at a convenience store. But it's like really interesting because like as this show goes on, you start to realize that there are more people like him in the world, and they're crossing paths, and like the people that have been doing it for a while kind of recognize what's happening with him, but he doesn't recognize that there are other people that are going through the same predicament where they have 2 bodies like he does. So they left it like on this cliffhanger where it's kind of like what's going to happen in the next season. And I think they've got plenty of content, because like when I look it up on Webtoons, it's like 200 episodes on Webtoons, and they only did 8 episodes of an anime. So, but it was really interesting. Like it was just kind of interesting to see it all play out, and how some of the people that you thought were these asshole bullies turned out to not be as bad, or even bad guys in general, like you originally thought. So it was just really interesting to watch, because it really kind of plays on a lot, kind of like Squid Game. Like
it's really interesting.
Yeah, it plays on like the consumerism of like Korean culture. So it was really interesting. Like there's just a lot of underlying stuff that kind of comes in with, it's more than just being bullied. It's like, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining, but at the same time, it was very like deep. There was this deeper underlying message to the whole thing.
You've just reminded me. Sorry, I know we're going to quickly move on then, but the first week literally after our live that we did on Instagram, because they kept bringing up, well, I think it was mainly Steph.
Severance.
Severance. So I watched all 9 episodes over 2 days.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't started it.
Like, so the first like 4 or 5 episodes are quite slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I'd say it's all quite slow, but it's still enjoyable. And so you just reminded me from that show, so that you just talked about. So Severance is in a kind of fictional future, although it doesn't feel massively far in the future. It feels like it possibly is 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
but the world is very aware of the severance procedure, in which you choose to have two personalities. So you choose to have the work personality and your outside work personality, which they refer to as outies and innies. So basically, the moment you walk into the sort of the lift or elevator, as you guys call it, as you're going up the elevator, your work personality kicks in, and your obviously your outside personality turns off, and they never meet, or obviously they can't meet, but they don't exchange. They're not allowed to exchange messages with each other or anything like that. And they show you very early on in the first episode that the lift is built with technology to be able to stop any form of encryption from going into the lift, whether that's a handwritten note, whether that's pen on your arms, whether even if you decide to swallow a piece of paper, all this kind of stuff. So this girl, she tries it, and this guy walks in on her. So it's the first time she goes in the lift, the alarms will go off. Later on, he walks in on her, about to write pen on her arm, and he's like, I wouldn't do that. And he's like, and before you even think about it, don't swallow anything. He's like, because they'll enjoy the rubber glove treatment, like, and so the first few episodes are very much like, so they all work in an office environment. However, none of them really know what they do. So they kind of show this weird task that they have to do every day, but no, literally, even us as viewers have no idea what this task is they do. It looks completely boring, and you only follow one character, the main character, in and out of his life. They don't. So he works with three others, and they don't show what the other three do outside. But you do get in the final episode three. So the main character and two of the others, they do show their lives outside, like for a whole episode. And one of the others they don't, which if you ever watch it, you'll find out why. And it ends in a massive, I'm not joking, like one of the best cliffhangers like I've seen in ages. Like I was so like drawn in by the whole thing. I like it when a slow show pays off, like Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad. They were really good at slow storytelling. And this show Severance was so good at slow storytelling, and then landing into essentially into a really good payoff episode at the end.
Yeah.
So
okay, it's on my list.
Now I'm like, I really need to see season 2, but I don't think it's even been announced for this year. If it does, I think it might be right at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just quick touch on news, and then we'll go into our main topic for this year. Sorry, for this episode. So the only thing I really wanted to talk about was, I mean, we are on the 8th of January while we're recording, so there's not been a lot happened. Jeremy Renner unfortunately didn't start off the year very well. So he was involved in a real horrible snow plowing winter accident, basically. I think from what I've read as well, the police are treating it as a crime scene because his plow slipped and started to roll, and he tried to jump in the driver's seat, somehow got sucked underneath it or something, and he got airlifted to a hospital. He's uploaded videos actually of him and his sister, I think, massaging his head, and he looks terrible. So I think he's had quite a few operations, and yeah, I'd say it sounds like he's probably lucky to be alive. Sounds like,
yeah, because if you've ever seen what a snowplow, like an actual like industrial sized snowplow looks like, that thing is nothing nice.
I know, I've seen pictures of it. I mean, I've never seen one in real life, but he was helping someone out as well. Apparently a local doctor came and helped as well. It just sounds like it was horrendous. I think it was like the 1st or 2nd of January. It was just,
it's going to be interesting to see if he actually can still even use his legs. Yeah
I would imagine his career as well, like if he is like, it sounds like he's gonna live and be fine in terms of living, but if he will have real access to his legs, it'll be interesting to see what comes of his career, because he's very much an action person. Like Mission Impossible and Hawkeye are action roles. So what will happen if he's not able to do those roles? So it'd be sad, but will he take on more of a TV world going forward. So I know he is in TV. I think the Mayor of Kingstown, he just recently finished season 1, which I've not seen. But so it's just quite a sad way to start the year, and I wish him all the best. And
that's some scary stuff, Ben.
I know. When I woke up and my wife actually told me for me, she picked up and saw the news. She's like, "Oh my god, Jeremy Renner is had a really terrible accident," and I was like, "Wow." So. Oh, by the way, when I put up that first post on Instagram about Jeremy Renner, and obviously I quoted whatever the actual news source was I picked it up from, my wife said, "Why didn't I put her down as the source? Because I heard it from her before I heard it from Deadline." And I was like, "I'm not likely to post source my wife, am I?" So she thought that was
Listen, man, she wants the credit for having the breaking news, okay?
Yeah. She said, "You heard the news from me, not Deadline." I was like, "Yeah, but you read it from Deadline." Or whoever it was, whoever I got the news from. So
next time you'll have to be like, credit to my wife via Deadline.
Via Deadline. So, anyway, before we jump into this year's most anticipated.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get the wrap up going.
Oh,
bless you.
Bless you. Must be allergic to
wrap ups.
To last year. 2022 didn't fare too well for me in many ways. So, which actually I'll kind of touch on now. So, last year we ran an episode at the very first episode of the year, which we covered our most anticipated 2022. Look, I'll put my hands up. 22. Personally wasn't very good for me. 2021 wasn't that good for me personally either. In 2021, family member died. Wasn't obviously the best year. 2022, I think, was my year of crisis, and this year it's time to play catch up and focus on many things. So
all right.
So when I say that, I'll come to it in a minute actually, but I wrote down for my comics that I wanted to read and graphic novels. I didn't read either of the ones that I wanted to read. So that is actually on my now to-do list. Having reread this, most anticipated 2022.
Yeah.
I now want to pre-order these or order them and go and actually read them and then add them into so you can actually hear what I thought about them. So I put down The Many Deaths of Layla Starr by Ram V, and I put down there's a Ben Reilly Spider-Man miniseries came out that was set during his original Spider-Man run. I didn't read any, unfortunately. So I'm glad to revisit this list. So they were things I was looking forward to. So I will go back 5 copies and you'll hear my opinions at some point.
Okay.
So all right. What comic did you put down and did you read them?
So I put down 3 and 2 of them are actually webtoons. And one of them was a manga. So I had put down for 2022, I was looking forward to Semantic Error, which is a webtoon. And then Under the Oak Tree, another webtoon. And the manga I put down was Sweat and Soap Volume 11, which is the final volume in that entire series. So I've been keeping up with Semantic Error, and it has not disappointed. It has been very good. I am still reading that one. I actually read the newest issue on Manta this morning. Okay. Under the Oak Tree, I still have it saved in my saved comics, but I have not actually read the second season of it yet. So I've got like 30 episodes saved up, and it's definitely going to be a binge. Like just sit on the couch for a few hours and kind of go through all 30 of those. And as for Sweat and Soap, I think I got really mad that it ended because I love it so much that I have not finished it. So it's like I have read 10 volumes of Sweat and Soap, and it's like I just refuse to read the final 11th volume. So it is on my bookcase. It is ready to go. Just like I can't bring myself to do it because I just don't want it to end. I love these characters so much.
I know that. I hate that when something is finally over.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes with TV as well. If it's only 8 episodes, or sometimes I did that actually with Ozark. I deliberately didn't rush it. Mm-hmm. So when the final season came out last year, I deliberately did not rush that because I really loved Ozark. So
yeah.
Right. Okay. So for TV last year, I wrote down 3 things that I was most anticipating looking for. One of them I'm disappointed I didn't put on my best of list actually because I kind of forgot about it, but it was brilliant. No. So Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which I thought was really good.
Mm-hmm.
There was the odd episode which wasn't great, but as a whole, it was really good. And I think I actually prefer it to Discovery now.
Is that the one with Pike?
Pike, yeah.
Okay.
Let's be honest, Anson Mount as Pike, it's a
Anson
dream
Mount is
role.
great.
I mean, do you know what I love is that even though his Inhumans TV show was a pile of poo, that he actually is not arrogant enough, and he came back like he's not arrogant enough, sorry, not arrogant at all, that he came back for the Doctor Strange film that came out last year and played oh crap, I forgot his name, the Inhuman character that he played in the series. And Black Bolt. He came back and played Black Bolt again. And I thought, what a great guy. He comes across as a really great guy. But Star Trek Change Your World's really good. Go and watch it.
I'm telling you, you really need to watch Hell on Wheels.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that.
He is so good in Hell on Wheels. So good.
Yeah, maybe write it on the list. So anyway, the other two shows I put down. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, which again was really good. That I did put down on my list. So the other thing I put down was She-Hulk. Now,
well, you got all three of your shows in that you were anticipating then.
Yeah, I watched them all. Yeah. So She-Hulk was awful on so many levels. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, Marvel's trying new things. Yeah, no, great. I take my hats off. Well done, Marvel for trying something new and trying to completely brand new.
That doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I have to like it. And I put my take my hat off. Well done. They tried something new. Great. Did it work? No, not for me anyway. CGI was awful, writing was terrible, comedy was awful. I'll be honest with you, it leaves me slightly scared for Daredevil. So I hope they don't mess Daredevil up. But I have no problem with Daredevil being funny in someone else's show. That's not something I'm opposed to either. And the best episode they did have on it in the whole series was the Charlie Cox episode. Charlie Cox literally carried that whole episode. Unfortunately, whilst I've got no problem with the what's her name, the actress who played She-Hulk,
Tatiana.
Yeah, I thought she was brilliant. Orphan Black, absolutely one of my best shows, favorite shows, etc. But She-Hulk was awful. So anyway, TV for you.
TV for me. So I had 4 things that I was looking forward to, and I got 2 of them. So 50%. So I was looking forward to Peacemaker. And Peacemaker turned out to be like probably one of my favorites of 2022. Like Peacemaker was so stupid, but it was like the perfect kind of funny, hilarious, endearing stupid. So Peacemaker delivered on everything I hoped it would be. Some of the other ones I had were Naomi, which I never watched, and now
I saw the pilot. It was terrible.
Yeah, so it only got 1 season. I don't think it got picked up again. And then another one I was watching, or I wanted to watch, was the Tokyo 24th Ward, which was an anime, which I did not end up watching. It's still on my watch list. I just haven't gotten around to it. And the other show that I was looking forward to is another anime, Sasaki and Miyano, and it was so cute. That one was just so cute and so endearing, and I loved it. And I'm very much looking forward to. They did like a movie. It's like a OVA, I guess. One extra episode they released at the end of last year. So hopefully I'm looking forward to season 2 whenever that happens. I don't think it's happening in 2023, but Sasaki and Miyano, like Peacemaker, delivered on everything I hoped it would be. So I got 50-50 on my TV shows for 2022.
That's good. Films wise, I wrote down 3. So one of them I wrote down was The Flash, which didn't come out last year, which I think everybody knows. So
yeah,
I'll be out this year, hopefully. We'll see. The other 2 films I wrote down were Scream and the Batman. So Scream we did a review on and loved.
Yeah.
The Batman, I went to the cinema, watched it, and I actually didn't like it at the cinema, but I rewatched it and actually realized it was actually one of the best films of last year. It's definitely a film that needs to be watched twice. Whilst it might be difficult to push that point considering it is a 3-hour long film, I think a rewatch. What it is the trailers always show things slightly differently versus what they actually are. So once I watched it once, I then knew what it was and then went in and watched it again and actually thoroughly enjoyed it. So I enjoyed both the Scream and the Batman films. But yeah, The Flash, obviously, I couldn't watch because it didn't come out. So.
Yeah, well, I have the same problem. So my anticipated film for 2022 was Across the Spider-Verse, which got pushed back and is now coming out very shortly in 2023. So that was the only film that I was super duper looking forward to. for 2022, and so obviously didn't get to see that. So,
game wise, I put down only one game, which is Horizon Forbidden West. I did buy it. I did start it. I let it slip. What I did play was good, but unfortunately that's where I kind of let myself down a little bit, was the gaming area. Well, I let myself down on comics too, but gaming wise, I didn't do much gaming last year. So, and you put down one game as well.
I put down one game that I did not buy. I put down God of War Ragnarok. I was very much looking forward to that. And like I said, I actually did not turn my PlayStation 4 on for the first time until January 1st, 2023. It's been 3 years since my PlayStation was on. And for whatever reason, like now I can't even connect to PSN. Like, I don't know what the problem is. But no, I never picked up God of War. It's still on my want to playlist. I just have not picked it up yet.
Do you think that you will get it this year?
Yes, now that I know my PS4 still works. Yes.
Right, okay. So
all right, the good stuff, 2023.
I like that we just kind of actually kind of checked back on what we did or didn't achieve.
Yeah, that was nice. A nice review.
But because it's a nice little lead into this is the first, our New Year's geek resolutions.
Oh,
so you might have missed that. I wrote that down. Anyway, so
geek resolutions.
So everyone starts with New Year's resolutions, right? So, for instance, I'm drinking some more water here, Hydro Flask.
Hey.
Not normally when I'm on these podcasts, it is a Coke in my hands. So I have, whilst I haven't been perfect in the last 8 days, I have been trying to drink more H2O, and I've been trying to do a bit more walking. I haven't gone back to the gym yet because I deliberately didn't want to rush back because all the other new people was there.
Yeah, and, give it some time. They'll be gone by February.
I know. No, so I was going to the gym quite actively for the last few months, but I put my back out at the start of December and didn't go at all during December. My back's okay now. And I want to go back, but I also didn't want to go back with all the new people. But anyway, all those health stuff, push that aside. My New Year's geek resolutions is that I actually want to spend more time actually doing things I enjoy. You know, podcasting we enjoy, but I want to spend more time gaming. I want to spend more time reading comics. TV and movie are easy things to do. They're quite easy. I've always got a handle on TV and movie. Always, it's quite easy to put the TV on. But I want to make more time to actually have a night a week just for reading, have a night a week potentially for gaming, or to make sure I fit some gaming around. I want to try and get in at least a couple of hours of gaming a week now. I'm getting I'd like to get in at least sort of three or 4 hours a week of reading. I think it's quite important because, I love comics, but I've just fell massively behind last year. Yeah. So hence what I said. But yeah, those are kind of my things to make sure, at least I would say, to have at least 5 or 6 hours a week of gaming and comic book reading every week. So that's my geeky resolution, and to clear my comic book backlog of last year. Yeah. And my current TV resolution is to catch up on most of the Arrowverse shows in readiness for that. So I'm 2 seasons behind on The Flash, and I want to get ahead or catch up. Sorry,
for the final season.
For the final season. So, do you have any geeky New Year's resolutions?
I do. So I want to kind of update my geeky wardrobe. Like, I'm wearing my Green Lantern shirt. I call it my Jon Stewart Green Lantern shirt. It's not a Hal Jordan shirt. It's Jon Stewart shirt. I just want to kind of update, like get a couple of new things, especially since I've lost a lot of weight. So like I want to get stuff that actually fits now. That's good, yeah. And I want to update sort of, I'm looking over here at my like bookcase, but like I want to update how I display my stuff. And I haven't quite figured out, like I don't have an extra bookcase, like I'm already out of bookcase space. So either I need to stop buying like actual books, or I don't know what the solution is, but yeah, so I rearranged my bookcase actually over the long break, and it's like I gotta move some stuff out of the way, man. Like I got way too much manga that I've started to collect lately, and
might need another bookshelf.
Yeah, it's like I'm running out of bookshelf space, but like where am I going to put another bookcase? So
about a week or two before Christmas, I went and my wife hates bookshelves, so I did this before when she was out. Yeah, I went on to I knew she'd kill me regardless. But actually, she's come around. So I went onto Facebook Marketplace, found someone really good bookshelf. I'm not joking. This probably was like 100, 150 quid, like brand new. And it was a proper solid wooden bookcase. It was fucking heavy. Like, the guy helped me get it in my car all the way down from upstairs in his house. I paid 20 quid for it. I was well chuffed. They had it listed for more as well, and I just was messages back and forth. I was like, nah, 20 only. But he actually was desperate to get rid of it because they were moving house. So but yeah, I've got it, and I got all my graphic novels that were either in the garage or the house, and I've been putting around. And so basically, like you, making them look a bit nicer and setting up some displays with some pops and some little figures and stuff like that. So that's not a resolution, but I just thought, sorry, I was just
no, it's definitely a resolution for me. Like because I still have a stack of books that I have not put on the bookcase. It's like I don't have anywhere to put them. Like I don't know, because I have a whole bunch of floppies, and like I don't know what I want to do with the floppies, because you can't really display them because I don't have them in boards or bags or any of that stuff. Like, so I have all of my graphic novels displayed nicely and all of my manga and my pops displayed, but I don't have anything. Like my floppies are just all in a pile, like this high. It's just like I don't know what to do with these.
Sorry, I just saw a message which was a bit weird, but basically, I want to send you a message, link. Sorry, I want to send you a link. You just reminded me. Hold on a minute, let me send it to you. I'll send you that.
Send me some stuff.
I just send it to you now, only because if you see it now.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those are so cool.
I want to get that for my bookshelf. Like, so
yeah.
It's like a little so for listening and watching people, it's a little insert that goes on your bookshelf, like kind of maybe the space of 2 or 3 books put together, and it's like a little alleyway, like Diagon Alley, on your bookshelf. So I found one on Etsy earlier. So I've spent far too much in the last 4 weeks. So not right now, but maybe at some point this year. But I think you'd quite like that too. So
yeah, I think that would be really fun. I still gotta figure it out, because I also have like all of the actual like textbooks that I have for when I'm learning Japanese. Like I need to keep space for those on the bookshelf. It's just like there's so much stuff. Like it's on the one hand, it's like, well, Jasmin, stop buying stuff, and it's like, no, I don't want to do that.
So before we jump into what we're looking forward to, I literally want to try and do this within about a minute, because I know we've been talking quite well. I've been throwing up the most anticipated or stuff for this year on our Instagram. So the first one I threw up was going in order of most recent, Netflix. So there's a lot of people that have shouted out. I'll shout out some of the comments. There's only 2 comments, to be honest. One of them is mine.
That's okay.
And sorry, there's another one here from Steph as well. So TM Nerdy shout out that 90s show. He's interested in that. The Witcher, You and Manifest. I've said You and Manifest. Steph said he's heard You is good as well. So on the Apple TV one that I threw up, there actually was a comment about Ted Lasso, which I don't think is scheduled right now. Severance season 2, obviously that's currently not scheduled. So somebody else did put here about Wall and Hello Tomorrow. So Wall was on my list, so we'll talk about that in a minute. And HBO Max and HBO. So there were some comments here around True Detective. You put on Warrior and The Last of Us. Somebody else put about Barry. Somebody else put about Barry. Then right, DC shows coming out this year. So there's a few DC shows coming out this year: The Flash, Superman, Lois, Doom Patrol, Harley Quinn. It's got a special coming out: Gotham Knights, Penguin. We've got here somebody wrote anything but Gotham Knight. So okay, so despite it being very long in the tooth, somebody said they're looking forward to The Flash. Somebody else is looking forward to Superman and Lois. Someone else is looking forward to Doom Patrol, The Flash. Also Superman and Lois, looking forward to seeing how they deal with the recasting of Jonathan Kent. Oh, really weirdly, polar opposite. I'm most excited, looking forward to Gotham Knights. Somebody else put Gotham Knights. Somebody else put Superman and Lois, and my wife has actually put Superman and Lois too. So, on the DC movies that are coming out this year, I think it's always a hot topic. Anything
Yeah,
DC
that one was a
wise.
mess.
So Aquaman. Somebody said. Another person said Shazam, Flash, Blue Beetle. Somebody else has said none of them.
Yeah.
So. Uh, Blue Beetle again. On the Marvel ones, X-Men 97 comes up a lot. Loki comes out a lot. Um, the Secret Invasion one comes up. So, and Ironheart. Yes, that's good. On the now, me and you are on the same page here on the Marvel movies, but we got a lot of commentary around
Guardians.
literally every single comment was pretty much Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but I know that me and you are not on the same page as that. So
no.
There's literally every single comment was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So there's a few people who said other things, but they said Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Anyway, right, I just wanted to shout out what other people's thoughts were. So for myself, for comics, we'll do comics first. We'll do a bit like last year, comics, movies, TV shows, and we'll go from there. So comics, I'll be honest with you, my main thing I want to do this year is catch up on what I did or didn't get a chance to read last year. However, there were a couple of things I thought I would shout out. So I'm interested in two Marvel comic book events, which is The Fall of X and Captain America Cold War. And there also is a Superboy miniseries that's coming out. So I'm quite interested in that too. So that is it for me. What about yourself, comics wise?
My first, obviously, it's a manga. I'm very much looking forward to Given Volume 7, which actually comes out this week. So I don't have very much longer to wait. But yeah, I've got the first 6 volumes collected and very much looking forward to. It's like the English translation takes so long, and I also need to get better at my Japanese, and then I can just read the Japanese version and not have to wait on the English version, because like the Japanese version is on volume 9 and I'm just now getting volume 7. So Given, it's about a band of high schoolers. Well, 2 of the kids are in high school, 2 of the kids are in college. And it's a BL series, but it's so good. It had a film that you can watch on Crunchyroll, and then they released an OVA that also came out last year. But Given Volume 7, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay, so TV wise, what I'm most anticipated, looking forward to. Me and you, I just got a quick look at yours. Me and you have put down one
of the same.
One of the same. So
yeah.
For TV, I've put down Ironheart, which is a Disney Plus show, spin-off of the new Black Panther film. So very much looking forward to that. I am looking forward to The Flash from the CW. So although I've not watched it for a while, I am very much keen to see how they finish off the Arrowverse. I'm even more stoked for it, hearing that Stephen Amell is returning as an Arrow for episode 9.
Yeah.
So just go over to Stephen Amell's Instagram and watch his video in which he says, "It doesn't matter how I'm coming back. It doesn't matter why I'm coming back.
Just watch it.
Just watch it." And he ends it with, "Don't ask me any more fucking questions." So basically, just watch it. And to be honest, Stephen Amell, I thought he was great as the Arrow. He handled that show really well. I loved Arrow. But, some seasons were stronger than others. I think it got a little bit lost. It got a little bit lost in the middle when they
season 2 and 3 are the best. The best.
When they made the mistake was when they started killing off all of his cast. Like by I think it was like, I can't remember now, end of season 3 or 4. It was just him and Diggle left, and Felicity or whatever. Is it Felicity, the girl? What's the name? The blonde? Yeah, Felicity. Basically, it's pretty much them 3 by the end of it. And it's like he had like no cast left. Oh, his sister was around a little bit, but like everyone was dead. So I was like, and so they kind of had to re-energize it and brought in a whole load of new cast. And whilst in the beginning it wasn't great, because obviously you had to get to know them, by the end of the show you actually loved all of the new cast that they brought in, and I thought it was a great show. So I'm looking forward to Stephen Amell coming back. I hope they bring back others, and I hope they bring back Supergirl, which they haven't announced yet. I hope they do. So it would be a shame to not bring back Cara Danvers as well, as she was very closely linked to the Flash as well. So anyway, my other two I've put down a few TV shows. So The Last of Us So I've played the first game, and season 1 apparently will adapt the entire first game.
Okay.
And they have said they are only going to adapt the games. They will not do any sideways or segues.
Which I'm glad that they came out and said that up front. They're like, listen, we're not deviating. We're doing the games. Also, The Last of Us third game comes out this year, doesn't it? They haven't announced it. It
no,
possibly
I don't
be
know
this
anything.
year.
I don't know. I didn't find anything before we started recording. But anyway, so there's another TV show which is going to be on Apple called Wall. Really weird name. It's based off an ebook apparently from years ago. I think it's gone through a bit of development hell, but it's going to be Rebecca Ferguson and Tim Robbins.
Love Rebecca Ferguson. Love her.
She'll be leading this TV series. So it's set in a future dystopian. They all live in silos. I don't know much more about it, but it sounds awesome. So other TV show is You, which, let's be honest, Joe is a sociopath, which you love to hate. So he's like the new Dexter. I'm on board with it. Like, happy to see the deaths continue to rise as he's desperate for his conquest of love. So like the bodies are dropping, but as long as Joe's getting some, it's all good.
Oh my god.
Netflix is splitting the show into 2 parts. They're coming out, I think it's February and March or something like that. So anyway, those are my TV shows. What about yours?
So the one TV show we have in common is Ironheart. I really enjoyed the introduction of Riri Williams in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So I'm super stoked to actually see her like backstory unfold. So definitely looking forward to Ironheart. The other 2 are anime. One of them is the second season. It's Surune, the Linking Shot, which is, I consider it a sports anime because it's about archery. It's about the Japanese sport called Judo. And I loved it. It was so cute. I think the first season was 2018, but the first season was so great. And I loved the camaraderie that all of those kids had. And so I'm super excited that we got a second season of Surune, which is starting pretty soon. And then the other one I'm looking forward to, which is what's on my background, it's called Buddy Daddies, which is like the stupidest name in the world. But this one actually started. So we're recording on Sunday, the 8th. This actually started yesterday, on the 7th. So I have not watched it yet, but I'm very much looking forward to it. So it's basically these 2 guys are assassins that like are roommates, and this little girl is like one of their targets' kids that somehow winds up in their care. And so they are now assassins that have to navigate like making sure she gets to school on time, making sure she gets picked up from daycare. Like, so they take over taking care of one of their enemies' kids. Like it seems really cute. Like it just sounds like nothing but shenanigans. So very excited to see it. I think the title is really stupid, but like the premise to me seems really cute. So
I think if they turn that into a live action, would make a hilarious comedy.
Yeah, right. So we'll see. Like I said, it started yesterday, so that actually might be something that I pick up the first episode today to kind of see what's going on. But it just looks so fun.
You could see that as a sitcom.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Like 3 Men and a Baby.
Films wise, let me just quickly glance at your list. So there is...
My list is very small films wise.
I've got 4, you've got 3, and 2 of them we have as the same. So right, okay. So Quantumania is probably the film I'm looking forward to the most. I'm loving all the multiverse stuff that they're doing with Spider-Man, Stranger Things. I felt they could have actually gone harder. They only ended up really on one other world. So, but I did love all of the alternate worlds. I'm a big fan of alternate world things. Like, I used to love Sliders back in the day when, I don't know, do you remember Sliders?
I do remember.
So I'm a big fan of multiverses and things like that. So I know Quantumania. I'm not too sure how it's going to work because I know they're going into the quantum verse, but somehow I don't know. And I would have to watch it because Kang is going to be making his movie first appearance. Whilst his first TV appearance was Loki at the end, we are now seeing the movie first appearance. Which
we saw a variant of Kang in Loki. Yeah, this is a different variant in the film.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. The other movie I'm looking forward to is The Flash. Now, I'm looking forward to it for many reasons. I actually want to see what this nightmare shows up and it becomes. I'm hoping that it turns out to be fine. My theory is that James Gunn is putting all his eggs behind this movie, rebooting the Snyderverse and becoming the Jim Gunn verse or whatever they want to call it.
The Jimboverse.
Yeah, the Jimbo verse. Like that's what they should call it, the Jimbo verse.
You're welcome.
I'm assuming this is my assumption for this movie is that Michael Keaton probably will be in it, but probably just more of a cameo now rather than you know getting rid of Ben Affleck and getting
well, they
Michael
removed
Keaton.
Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot's cameos in this
Yeah,
film. So
yeah, no, I've know that. So that my theory is this is a complete theory. I have no facts to bring this up to base this off of, but my theory is that the Batman, from that we saw from Robert Pattinson, I think they're going to make him the DCU Batman. That's my theory. I could be wrong, but that's my theory. I think they're going to bring him in at the end of this film, and
oh
I think they're also going to bring in this new young Superman at the end of this film,
oh
and I think that. Well, I think there'll be more cameos at the end, but I think that this Flash movie will basically be the reboot. I think what's going to happen is so they did Flashpoint in the CW as well, where they went back and changed everything. But then Barry came back, and what he'd undone was a few things. Diggle's child, I can't remember which way around it was a son, and then was a daughter after Barry and messed around with time. And then Barry changed a few other things by doing Flashpoint. So I think it's very much, and obviously Flashpoint's a comic book event, which led to the creation of the New 52. So I think that Barry will go back in time, make some alterations. There'll be a lot of chaos throughout the movie. By the time it's all done, there'll be a brand new DCU, which I think will. I'm willing to bet that they'll only have one Batman. I think from what I've gathered is that James Gunn only wants more of a cohesive universe and not all these different movies, different sort of universes around. So I think that they'll bring the Batman into it. So I kind of want to see it just to see how right or wrong I am.
yeah.
I could be
That'd be
completely
really
wrong.
interesting. Like really interesting if they condense it all down and like this is their new starting point.
Yeah. That's
Huh.
what I think. That's what I
Okay.
think.
Okay.
That's my theory. I think James Gunn wants to make it more cohesive.
Well, we
Because let's
did
be
see
honest.
Barry travel through time, Batman versus Superman. There's a part where Bruce is sitting there looking at a computer screen, and then like there's this portal,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
Barry comes through the portal and is like, "Am I too early? Is it too soon?"
Oh yeah. We saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also in the CW, was it Infinite Crisis?
Mm-hmm.
Movie Barry and TV Barry met as
Yes.
well, which was cool. So I would love it if they brought Grant Gustin into this movie, even if it was a cameo. They're
Yeah.
clearly not going to make, from reports that Ezra Miller's behaving himself, they're keen to keep him as the Flash. I would have loved it if Grant Gustin and him could have swapped over. I don't think it's going
Yeah.
to happen, but I would love it if at least Grant Gustin got a cameo. That people will go nuts if they do
Yeah.
that in the cinema. People literally, I'm not. It'll be.
Just
I
like
don't know if it'll
Spider-Man, like
I don't
when
know
we
if
got
it'll be
all
on
the
the
Spider-Man together.
yeah, exactly. I don't know if it'll be like Tobey Maguire
No, not
crazy,
that level, but like it
but
still would
people
be
like
exciting.
I honestly would be I would like give that a shout out in the cinema. But anyway,
Yeah.
my two other films, I don't need to say too much about these, but Fast X brings the Fast and Furious to a close, so looking forward to that.
A
And
close. I thought we were doing. I thought 11 was going to be the final one.
oh, sorry, apologies. Yeah, you're right. It's part one of two. It's part one of two. Sorry, part one of two. Yeah, sorry. Apologies. Yeah, but it is bringing it to a close in the sense that it's part one of two. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then the latest Scream film, which is getting its numbers back. So Scream 6, set in
Yeah.
New York, on Halloween. It's going to be horrible, I'm sure.
Yeah, because Nev Campbell's not in it. What bullshit?
So they say that. They say that. Let's see what happens.
I
So
guess. I guess.
Let's
We'll
see.
see.
So let's be honest. They say that they denied that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in the next Spider-Man film when they showed up.
Well,
How
that's
do
true.
I don't believe anything these people say until you watch it. So let's be honest.
Yeah.
The trailer didn't even show Courtney Cox. So
Yeah.
they could be saving these things.
Yeah.
I think would be cool is if they do if not this Scream film, but maybe the next Scream film, Nev Campbell actually turns out to be the serial killer.
Ghostface.
Yeah, Ghostface. Like I'd love it if that turned out to be the way they end it with her becoming the killer.
When she's
like,
just like, fuck it, like we're going full circle here.
Yeah, she's like, I've had enough of this shit. I thought I'll kill you
Yeah,
lot instead.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so anyway, those are my films. So
All right, so the two we have in common, I'm very much looking forward to Scream as well. I even though there are all these, hullabaloo about Nev Campbell not being in it, I'm still very much looking forward to Scream. Scream is a big part of my childhood growing up. So it's a big part of like my nerdy identity from when I was a kid. So definitely looking forward to Scream. Ant-Man, I'm very much looking forward to because it is the first film of this next phase of Marvel, and I am very interested to see what they think this next phase is going to look like. So it's the first time I'm looking forward to an Ant-Man film, but definitely looking forward to Quantumania to see what the hell is going on. Which means I'm actually going to have to go and watch Doctor Strange too, which I still have not seen.
I've not seen it. Oh,
I need to watch it. And then the other one is my carryover from last year, which did not come out last year, but probably the film I'm looking most forward to this year is Across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
I actually do want to see that, but
Yeah.
yeah. By the way, just before we move on, I thought the last phase of Marvel was a mess, other than a few standouts like Shang-Chi, etc., and Black Panther. But other than that, I felt it was a bit of a mess. So I'm hoping, because I've heard reports that they've realized that it wasn't great, that they went for quantity rather than quality. So I'm hoping that they realize that they need to go back to quality, because Marvel always was quality. So I want them to go back to that. So, right, okay. So we've done films. The last one on our list is games. So I got a Switch, and obviously I'm playing some old games which came out in like 2017. I've got a backlog of games. Oh yeah, games are difficult to play, let's be honest.
And games are expensive.
Well, they're also they're not like old games where you could probably do them in a day.
Yeah.
So a lot of these games now can require months of work, and I've got a full-time job and kids, dog, and and I'm tired a lot. So but anyway, I have written down two games I would like to buy. One is for actually, sorry, I've written down three games. Sorry, apologies. I am going to have to somehow get PS5, because one of them is only on the PS5, and that's Spider-Man 2. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a PS5 and a game. But I've written down two games. One's for the Switch. So I've been playing the new Breath of the Wild. Well, not new, it's old Breath of the Wild Zelda game. I watched the trailer for the new one, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, which looks really cool. So, and the game, I'll be honest with you, I'm so intrigued about is Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, I've been seeing so much about Hogwarts Legacy.
The idea of having an open world at Hogwarts sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Those three for me. So, like you say, they're not cheap. We'll see how I get on. I'm looking forward to the next 12 months to see what my gaming life looks like. But I would like to get at least one of those. If it's only Spider-Man 2 and a PS5, I think I'll be happy. So,
well, I mean, that would be a big brand new venture to get the PS5.
So, okay. So, what about you?
So my two actually are from the same publisher, different games, which is exciting that they're coming back. They're from Telltale Games, which Telltale Games filed for bankruptcy a few years ago, and everybody thought that they were just going to go under, but they're coming back. They're coming back. We're getting a Wolf Among Us Part 2. I am so excited about that. There's no real official date yet, I don't think. Or if there is, I don't know what it is, but Wolf Among Us 2, and Telltale Games is doing an Expanse game, which The Expanse is one of the best TV shows I've ever watched in my entire life. I love The Expanse. So I am super intrigued to see what Telltale does, because I love the way that Telltale does their storytelling in games. So I'm super excited to see what they come up with for an Expanse video game. So those are my two that I'm looking forward to.
I have not seen The Expanse. I know you love it, so it kind of makes me want to catch up. The Wolf Among Us. In this box here, I've actually got the comics.
All the Fables?
Well, all the Fables, but including the Wolf Among Us. They made a comic based off the game.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So that brings this fairly lengthy episode to a close.
Yeah, so, I mean, with good reason though. It's stuff that we're looking forward to for the whole year, so it's a lot to talk about.
It was a nice catch up of Christmas. Look, you've had 3 weeks off, so you got a bumper episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be returned to a slightly short format for next week. We will be continuing, like I say, our news, what we've been watching, but our review is a film I've never watched.
Me neither.
Oh, have you never seen it? Oh,
nope.
Okay, cool. We're going to be watching The Joker, or just Joker. So anyway, you can follow us on social media. We're Geeks Unleashed everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcast. Google, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, we're everywhere. So please leave us a 5-star review and tell your geeky friends.
Thank you very much for listening. Look, enjoy 2023, and I hope it's everything you guys want it to be. And good journey.